What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P, Shannon White's driving away. I hope you have an happy weekend by the time this comes out. We were recording it on my Friday, Shannon's Thursday. My man, we talked about in our previous show or shows, depending on how I schedule things. We talked about training camp wrapping up. We talked about training camp wrapping up. Training camp's getting started in 6 weeks' time. OTAs wrapping up. Mini camp wrapping up. A lot of hype coming out of the Steelers, a lot of talk, Justin Fields, a lot of talk around Russell Wilson being the guy, a lot of talk about what's going to be the decision in terms of long-term with them, even though we've not even seen an on-field, in season. A lot of good things, Darnell's catching the ball and, Cam Hayward, is back there even with the contract situation and all the, the linebackers are looking, Maitland Wilson's looking good. All this sort of Sutton's back, all this sort of stuff's coming out. Wide receiver 2, it doesn't matter that it's by committee. Everyone's looking good. I guess I wanted to ask you, and, this is probably going to be a fairly watertight segment, but I want to know in your opinion, what the most overhyped narrative or like headline angle has been in training camp, and what's the most underplayed sort of narrative that's been going. I said training camp again. Narrative that's been going through OTAs and mandatory minicamp.
Well, you're really looking forward to training camp. I can tell. I think we all are.
I'm getting ready for the 6 weeks of no nothing.
Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to the.
Can I give this analogy? Can I have this analogy before I forget it? They say nothing good happens after 2 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Nothing good really happens in this period, right? This is that period, like you never get a deal. They save the deal to be announced in the first 3 days of training camp. Like no news is excellent news between now and then, right?
Oh, because a lot of times there's legal issues.
That's what I'm saying. There's legal issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is like nothing good happens after mandatory minicamp.
I think that the biggest thing for me, it's kind of both, is the wide receiver too. I mean, I just keep hearing if the Steelers could get this guy, if they could get that guy, then they're Super Bowl contenders. And we know it's all going to come down to two things. Arthur Smith's offense, how effective, do they have the talent to operate this effectively? He had it in Tennessee when he had Tannehill and Henry and A.J. Brown, and it wasn't as successful because he didn't have the quarterback in Atlanta, which was a big holdup. Well, now will he have the quarterback in Pittsburgh? We think. I mean, we look at Russell Wilson and we look at Justin Fields, and we think that the quarterback room is greatly improved. But until they actually do it on the field, and I don't mean in shorts and T-shirts, but I mean on the field.
Austin called it. He called it underwear.
Yeah, until we see that, we don't know. Now, I've heard people say, well, y'all trying to hype up this team again. And I did. I really believe last year, due to the preseason, that Pickett took control of the offense and the Canada was kind of getting out of the way, and it was going to at least be functional last year. I was dead wrong. It was just as bad. And so this year it is a totally new coordinator, all new quarterbacks, a lot of new players. We got to remember a strengthened offensive line. Troy Fatanu is now talk about he's going to be on the right side, and he's looking more and more like a starter. And it boggles my mind to even think about that Broderick Jones won't be the starter at left tackle. Then you got Frazier, who I think by the time the season starts will be the starting center. You're going to have a much improved offensive line. That's going to help everything because it's held back the offense now for since Ben's last year. And now we're going to see an offense, I think NFL caliber, top half of the NFL caliber offensive line.
Yeah.
So to me, the big thing is we're not trying to hype up this team into something they're not. We're looking at the possibilities. We're talking about potential right now. Because when you build a house, you got your plan, you know, and you go over this and everything. Now it hasn't been built yet, but you have to have the plan and your schematics and everything. Well, that's what we're talking about. They've got the materials, they've got the plan. Now they got to build it.
I like it.
In the past, there's been real depth issues across the roster. Now they've filled that in. The depth issues, there's quality, you know, backups in most positions. So again, I keep saying it, but it's going to come down not to the wide receiver two, not to, you know, who the number 2 cornerback is. It's going to come down, is Wilson or Fields, can they be the answer? And if one of these guys are the answer, you've just accelerated your rebuild, you know, by a large margin, and they can compete now.
Let's wrap up this segment of the Steelers Global Perspective. Stay tuned for more content coming from us on Steelers Touchdown Under.